everybody. I'm Angela Mader with Fitlosophy, here with the Nicole Wilkins, 4-time Figure Olympia champion. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Angela. Good to be here.
We are here today to announce that we have a new product that we worked with Nicole on creating. What's it called?
It's the fitbook prep.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, Nicole has sold fitbook for many years just with her logo on it. And I want to kind of talk about that, tell you today the difference between fitbook and fitbook prep. But first, before we jump into that, you know, I kind of want to get a little background on, you know, when did you start journaling? Why is journaling important to, you know, the competition process?
Right. Well, I've actually been weight training for over half of my life. 32 right now, which doesn't seem like it was that long. But when you think about it, you know, 15 to 20 years of weight training.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I would just get notebooks that you could get at CVS, and I would write down all my workouts, how many sets and reps I did, what exercises. I would journal my food for the day, and it's kind of funny now to look back on what I did then. But even when I started getting into competing, which was about 14 years ago, believe it or not, I tracked a lot of those things in addition to the little things too, like circumference measurements, how I felt, so little notes, you know, how my energy was, because I think when you're taking your fitness to the next level, all those little things matter. And I could never find a workout journal that I really loved that had all of those extra little things involved aside from just what you did in the gym, or just what you eat. And that's when I found Fitbook, and that's when I was like, let's make one with my logo on it so I can sell it, because when I train people and I work with people one-on-one, it's something that I always recommend. Write down what you're doing, because I think a lot of people are visual. You know? You go in the gym and you work out, but are you keeping track of your progress? And I think that makes a big difference.
You make a good point on that. Sorry to interrupt you. Taking it to the next level. And that's really what fitbook prep is. I mean, first of all, did we get on video Nicole Wilkins saying she loves fitbook? That's awesome. We've been working with her for a while now, so obviously this process for me has been fascinating to see someone at this level. I mean, you know, she's going for 5th Figure Olympia this year. And the cool thing is that whenever she came to us about fitbook prep, I was like, yes, anything you want to do, let's do it. But what makes it so different from the fitbook is what was fun for me to kind of explore, like, okay, well, how do we make this different? How do we make it more Nicole? So talk to me about, like, why did you want to do something different, and how is it different from, you know, we can obviously go into the details, but what was kind of what made you want to do something different?
Well, I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit nervous to approach you with the idea, because you know, this fitbook is your baby, and I didn't want to say, hey, I want to change it, you know, in any way, because what it is an amazing tool for people. But for competitors, I felt like there was additional things that we could add to it for that specific group of people. And not necessarily just for competitors, but also people who are preparing for a specific event or really want to take their fitness to the next level, and are at that point where they've been doing it consistently for a long time and they need to track things more specifically. So that's when, I put together that huge Word document with all the things that I thought would be
I spent a lot of time in that Word document.
That I thought we could, you know, tweak and do a little differently.
I was actually impressed, though, because, you know, the daily page, you were like, no, I love it. I like it how it is, and I mean, for me, that actually meant a lot, because it was like the strength training portion and the workout portion, you guys, really stays very much the same of what fitbook that you're used to is. However, some of the tweaks, and I want to kind of talk through it. And here's your copy. I want to call out a few things. You know, first of all, it is Fitbook Prep with Nicole Wilkins. Like, if you ever wanted to get inside the mind of someone that has won, you know, 4 Figure Olympias, 3 international figure competitions, this is your chance. And it was really a fun process for me to create it. Yes, it's my baby, but whenever you have an opportunity to create something new with someone that's as experienced as you, it was such a cool experience. So one thing that we do is answer key questions from Nicole, because I think there are questions you guys are going to have, which, you know, the first question, and I had coffee with Nicole talking about this, and I think it's a really important question to answer, and one thing that she said was, this isn't just getting fit, this is the extreme. So talk to me about, you know, how do I know if I'm ready to compete in a competition? How do I know?
Yeah, I think if you're just getting into weight training and you're just learning about basic nutrition, Fitbook Prep is definitely a step above that. So you would want to start with the original Fitbook and get used to tracking on a regular basis. But once you understand what a carb is, what a fat is, what a protein is, and you're getting into more macro tracking, and you're more specific with your workouts. You know what names, you just need that extra of that little bit of, it's taking things to the next level.
It's taking the, and one thing that we say here is don't use competing as a way to motivate yourself to get fit.
Right.
This is taking fitness to the next level. And I think that's one thing that's really important, because one of the there were two issues I had when creating Fitbook Prep, and we talked about, and when we answer here, number one was we've never mentioned the word calorie in Fitbook ever. So that was kind of like, I go OCD if I track calories, but by nature, competing is OCD. You have to know your macros to be able to compete. So we do add that component. But one thing I asked you was, do we want people weighing on the scale every day? Because for me, that's intimidating. So I liked your response to that. So you want to kind of elaborate on what we talked about there?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to compete, you have to have that foundation set in place. It has to be your lifestyle. You have to be doing it for a long period of time before you're ready for the next step.
Right.
Weight is, to me, just a measure of progress. I don't stand on the scale, and if it's not what I want to see, let it ruin my day. Because if that's where you're at, competing is not for you. Yeah. I don't think that if you're setting a goal to get in shape by doing a show is the right mindset before you even start the prep.
Because it is, I mean, I competed twice, don't know if I'll ever do it again, but it was an emotional process for me, because, the scale did dictate my mood every day, and I realized it really wasn't healthy for my mindset. But the way I hear you talk about your weight and your food, I mean, it's just so, it's very calculated.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good way to decide, like, does the scale change your mood every day? That might affect if you should be competing. Right.
But even if it does, let's say it does,
right,
don't track that portion of your progress.
Yeah.
You can still use this as a means of, keeping yourself accountable.
Right.
Even if you don't track every single thing that's available in this book.
Yeah. I will tell you guys this, even in creating Fitbook Prep, I was telling my team, I kind of like this version a lot. Don't tell Fitbook, because it is my baby. But there are certain things we added, and I want to talk through that with you guys. And I want to get back to a very important question a little bit later about will Nicole provide detailed dietary and workout recommendations. We'll get back to that in a second. But one thing that's really important in the prep is it is 12 weeks. Just one thing we talked about is 12 weeks is a perfect amount of time to train for a competition.
For most people. If you have a lot of weight to lose and you have a lot of body fat to drop, then maybe you need 2 Fitbook preps.
We might need 2 Fitbook preps, yeah. And Fitbook by definition for me has always been it's a lifestyle. Just because it's 12 weeks, like you always get another one because you're always improving. When people ask me, you use Fitbook? I'm like, yeah, and I get them for free. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. But it's something I do use. I mean, so I think that's a great point, is it depends on the person. Yep. Some things that we added on a weekly basis, you guys, Nicole has created a weekly prep checklist just to remind you to plan your workouts for the week, schedule your workouts, take your weekly progress pics is one thing we talk about, planning meals for your week, prepping and portioning your food. Okay. But on a daily basis, let's talk about the daily page. The workout, you guys, stays the same. Literally, she made no changes, which I was shocked. I was like, okay. One thing I get questions about from people that lift a lot is there's not enough room for enough exercises. I know it's crazy, but just use 2 columns, you guys. That's what I do. I write down my exercises and then another row here. So it's just a little tweak I use. Right. But a lot of times this is enough. But the big change you're going to see on a daily basis is the fuel log. We changed it from food log to fuel because you're fueling your body. We do have an area to track calories, protein, carbs, fat, and then the blank line. What do you track other than those 3 macros?
You can track fiber, you can track sugar intake, you can track things like that.
Right.
But obviously, protein, carbs, and fats are your major macronutrients that you want to take into account on a regular basis. And macro counting has become a lot more popular, I think. But to be honest, in my past, there have been times where I felt like the only way I could get in shape is if I ate, 5 or 6 different foods. I could only have chicken, I could only have broccoli, I could only have brown rice, and so on. And if I veered off of that at all, I felt like the world was going to
fall apart.
Yes, and I was going to gain all this weight, and I also felt deprived because I didn't allow myself to have some of the things that I enjoyed in moderation.
Right.
Because I felt like it was all or nothing.
Right.
And that did lead to overeating and binging and things that you shouldn't. That are not very healthy for the long term. So when I started tracking my macros and paying more attention to the total amounts of what I was eating throughout the day, and not saying that you can't have this and you can't have that. It almost opened up a whole new world for me, and it really helped me out a lot. So that's why I wanted to take this and add it into the fitbook so that people could not feel so much like they're going to get holed into this little box.
Yeah.
When you're competing, however, there are a little bit more limitations and restrictions.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
But for the regular lifestyle, I mean, you can use this book all year round in the off season too.
Yeah. One thing to note on that, for me, I in the regular fitbook, I've never tracked calories. You guys know my feeling on calories. But I've also tracked protein for many years. And the reason I do that is if you are eating healthy, your calories will cut. You've talked about this. If you're following your macros, your calories fall into place, right? So the other thing is we do have the nutrient tracker, which is common in fitbook, but one thing, we don't make a recommendation. It's so specific to your diet, your body. We did add space to track your supplements. Obviously, they're, protein, multivitamins, BCAAs, everything like that you're going to be taking to supplement your nutrition. We want to be able to give you space to track there. And then we did make a recommendation that your recommendation is 1 gallon of water when you're training for competing, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the cool part, you guys. Whenever you get to the weekly wrap-up, every single week, Nicole, literally sent me the largest Word document you've ever seen, with all her tips week by week.
Right.
So at the end of week 1, you should select the show you want to compete in and register. You need to buy your membership cards, whether it's NPC, IFBB, whatever it might be. You need to buy those 5-inch clear heels. Obviously, this is detailed with Nicole on how she preps for every competition, which is phenomenal insight from someone who's done this so many times. We did, you guys are used to our little motivational images, but you'll see Nicole and her quotes. And I think one of the neat parts for me was seeing how balanced you are. I thought you would be more, rigid about certain things, but you address that you have cravings, you get hungry, and you encourage people along the way, this isn't easy.
Yeah, I'm a normal human being too, and it's not like I just sail through every single prep like it's the easiest thing in the world. It is very hard, mentally and physically. You're pushing yourself past where you think you can all the time, and in the end, you look the best you ever did.
Yeah.
But when I wrote this checklist out for the end of each week, I put myself in the mindset of what I was feeling in a prep. Week 1, how am I feeling? What are the things that I should have accomplished by that week? For the last month, that's when things really start getting mentally challenging because your body fat is a little bit lower. You're feeling a little bit more fatigued because your calories might be a little bit lower than the start.
Yeah.
And your training is very intense. So just keeping that positivity and remembering why you started and know that it's all going to work out in the end.
Yeah.
So I put little insights on there just to keep you motivated.
One thing I did when creating this, because I kind of wanted this to be a surprise for you too, on some of the things we did with your quotes, is I totally stalked her Instagram and your Facebook and what inspires her, right? So I would go back when she was prepping for Olympia, what was she posting? What motivates her? And so we added certain quotes in here from you, which I can kind of talk about some of those, but some of the things that she says, is if you can't stop thinking about it, don't stop working for it, And I think you're a perfect example of that. You've been doing this for 14 years now? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's obviously something that drives you and motivates you, and you keep putting the consistent work in. So I love that fitbook prep pulls in that personal one-on-one motivation with Nicole. So I think that's a really awesome component of that.
Thank you.
And then one thing I wanted to talk about too is at the end, which, like I said, I did 2 competitions, did not do well, so never really. I think I'm gonna stick to fitbook. But one thing that I wish I would have had is this competition bag checklist at the end, which is really cool, you guys. So obviously you get to the end of your 12 weeks. We ask you to reflect on your accomplishments, talk about how you feel. Maybe talk to us about what it's like to kind of get on stage and what the feeling is like right before. Do you get nervous?
Yeah, I think I get nervous, I'm not gonna lie. But usually I don't get very nervous when I'm backstage. It's when I'm about to line up and about to walk out on stage. Because then you think, just don't trip, don't fall, But at that point, I feel like all my hard work has been done, and now it's just the time to have fun.
It's go time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get waves of butterflies and stuff, but as long as you feel physically and mentally prepared, the rest is it.
That's one thing that you said actually in one of her last week's tips was have fun.
Yeah.
It's a competition.
Yeah.
You know, it even though it's serious and this is taking it to the next level, the reason you do this is because you enjoy it.
Right.
And you get the, luxury of doing this for a living because you're so good at it. But, for most of us, myself included, it's supposed to be fun. Like,
right.
I'm not going to make a career out of it, obviously,
Yeah.
but enjoy yourself, because you can tell the girls who are nervous and stuff on stage versus the ones that are really enjoying themselves.
Right. If you're miserable more than you're having fun, it's probably not the sport for you. There are going to be days where you're going to have a hard time. It's going to be hard, just like anything else.
Yeah.
But if it's a priority and it's really what you want to do and you're enjoying yourself more than you have days like that,
right.
then give it a go. Yeah.
And then there's space at the end for journaling, because I think one thing that people forget is, how do you feel right now? And as you do 1, 2, or multiple competitions, you want to reflect back. I mean, my favorite TBTs that you do is your first competition ever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The hair, amazing, on point.
Well, it's curly. It's just like yours. That's how it really is.
I know.
Yeah.
So it was amazing to see even your physical progress, but I'm sure if you look back at the journals, your emotional and mental progress that you made from competition to competition. So
right.
don't forget to do that part of the journaling process. So anyway, that is Fitbook Prep, you guys. We will be releasing that exclusively on NicoleWilkins.com. It'll be available through her website. So one of the questions I want to answer for people, because we will get this a lot on social media, does Nicole tell me what to eat? Does Nicole tell me when to work out? Because, I mean, shoot, if you told me everything to do, I would do it. So where do people go to get that kind of information?
Right. So if you want to see the inside look at my Fitbook, or you want a nutrition and training advice, you can go to my website in the member section at NicoleWilkins.com. I provide all of that information. You can actually see how I journal my workouts, what a day in the life of my meals look like. You can also see we're right now doing 31 workouts in 31 days in the forum. So there's a community of people that will be there to support you throughout the process. Obviously, every single person that uses Fitbook is going to be eating and training quite differently based on their body type and how much work they have to do and which division they're going to compete in. So for me to have one diet and one training program for everyone, it wouldn't really work that way.
People that train, I think, would get that more, that you can't advise every single person individually, but that's one really important thing to understand, you guys. This is a tool. Just like Fitbook is a tool, Fitbook Prep is a tool if you're training for a competition. Nicole is obviously the expert and can guide you through it. But if you want more information, you have to go to the member program, because there's support. Like you said, it's really cool. You get inside peek of like what her Fitbook Prep pages look like, so you can kind of see that. So I think that's a really neat component. And the other things you can do. You guys like my outfit? This is Nicole Wilkins. So I mean, you came out with this last year?
Yeah, last year in March. Actually, 1 year ago.
Okay.
But it's not only available to members; it's available to anyone on the
website.
website.
Anybody can get. Okay, so you can go to NicoleWilkins.com, obviously. But her apparel line is super cute. Yeah. She brought me all kinds of stuff today. Yeah. I was a little like. I mean, my biceps are feeling really sad right now next to hers, no, she has all these great things on the website, so you can buy Fitbook Prep. It's $27.95, I believe, exclusively through NicoleWilkins.com. So we will be promoting it. We will be talking about Fitbook Prep. We love Fitbook Prep. We obviously love partnering with Nicole on this, but right now it's exclusively available through NicoleWilkins.com. So when you comment on my site or on my Instagram and ask me where to get it, it's NicoleWilkins.com.
Right.
$27.95. This is just a great way to get an insight with Nicole. Thank you for working with us on it. Honestly, it's such a great opportunity. And number 5, Olympia this year.
I'll be starting that prep and using this in the beginning of June.
You start June, you start prepping for Olympia.
Yeah, the Olympia is in September. This is actually going to be my 9th Olympia, and if I win it, I'll be the 5-time champion. So
you are the only women to ever win 4 times, correct?
Yeah, so I currently have the record, but last year I got 2nd and lost my 5th. Yeah, potential 5th win.
But this is Drive for 5.
Exactly.
And we've got, Fitlosophy's going to be there in style, like with shirts and everything, you guys. It's going to be awesome. So thank you for joining us. You guys, if you have any questions, obviously you can find Nicole Wilkins on Instagram, NicoleWilkins.com, Fitbook. Ask us any questions you have, but we're just really excited and get ready for the release of Fitbook Prep.